cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey folks, dude here, yet again, another edition of Dude After Dark. Me turn off Mr. Binky. Mr. Binky is now gone to Betty Bye. I need to open another window so I can now at least, monitor things, because trying to read stuff sometimes on the, bitty phone screen just doesn't quite work. So let me jump over here to YouTube and make it sort of like official. Today was kind of an interesting day. I mean, I basically was looking things at, standard firing things up, and the old new laptop was like, nope. It's like, what do you mean, nope? And it was like, nope. It was really, no, it was just, it was not doing it. All right, sound guy, we get it. Sound guy, stop, okay? It was just not working, all right? Really, it was just, it was not monkey feces. Jeez, it was just really early. Okay, it was not working. Dude, stop. Okay, he's already deep into the whatever it is that he's doing. I do need to change the thumbnail, so that one right off the bat, that's really easy to see for what it is. It's just no, it's not it's just me needing to get the thing switched up, because I was just kind of doing things a little bit on the fly, and I didn't quite get it locked in fast enough. Martina Sasquatch already in the room. Appreciate you hanging out, dude. Let's see. Scrolling around. Have no notable weirdness going on there. I don't know why it just shifted lighting. That's strange. All right. Well, anyway, sometimes this newfangled technology here they call a telephone, it don't quite do, never mind. Sometimes things works better than the others, and this might just be one of those occasions where it's just kind of a sound guy. It was not definitively not that. Yeah, definitely. No, it was not that. Not that. I did notice that there was some background noise on the last video. What it is I literally have the old new laptop. Hang on one second here. This is the one that I'm currently not using, but on the old new laptop, there is a better version of these coolers. And essentially all it is, you can see like through the grating here, there's a fan. And literally all it does is it has a secondary cooling fan that blows air up into the laptop. Laptops tend to run a little bit on the hot side. So rather than overclock and cook the processor, I know overclock, you got to go in the BIOS. I'm just using wrong phrases to describe things. So rather than really overly hard work the processor being improperly cooled and running hot for too long and potentially cooking connection and whatnot, I tend to run a secondary cooler fan. It's a little loud, it's just, and they're going that's literally in replay. And I do actually I listen to my podcast sometimes when I'm driving at night doing, the Uber stuff, just to monitor and see how my actual performance level was, how the sound level was. Was there any technical glitches that potentially I shouldn't be doing, loan words, bridging words, kind of time filling, well, verily and verily and this, that, and the other thing and airily, all these kind of just tack on words that people tend to do rather than just taking a moment to catch a breath. They're just constantly talking, traffic, they don't seem to take a breath and give it like a moment's pause for it to sink in. Those news guys, they really sure don't want to stop talking about something, and they just rattle on, rattle on, rattle on, rattle on, and then it's like, now here's Barb with the so and so, and it's like, they just had like 30 seconds of nothing but run on. Obviously, they probably had a tank of oxygen going because they were like hoofing away before they grabbed that breath and went, okay, time to start talking the next minute and a half straight without breathing. Anyway, scrolly. Oh no. Well, then you got to worry about the skank in the lake with the stick. Oh no, that's British. That's definitely British. Stop. Stop. Skank in the lake with the... Okay, never... Apparently he's not a fan of the British, all right? He's just... He's not a fan of the British, I guess. Okay, I think we got it, sound guy. All right, he's definitely not an Anglophile. Okay, so let me go over here and look at my stack of stuff. Let's see, scrolly. Okay, I can tell you side by side what's going on now, obviously with the government pause, as it were. And essentially all we have really going on here is there is the political side of the aisle who's really trying to drag things out for political mention, notoriety, and effectiveness, showing that they're strongly for the, air quotes, cause. Essentially what's going on here is the Democrats, they want to hold up any budgetary type of stuff until after the No Kings protest. Now, I've made mention on other forum boards and probably a couple posts here on Facebook. I've said expressly what Trump needs to do is on the day of this No Kings protest, he needs to declare martial law. Lock down Washington, D.C., and no intention, not even a little bit of subtlety, and say, you're not playing this game right now. And because we don't have any finances to operate the federal government, guess what? You're not doing this because we don't have, quote unquote, enough money to do this safely. So technically, if Trump really, really wanted to take the wind out of their sails, he would declare that No Kings protest not going to happen. I would expressly lock down any of the areas which they think to, air quotes, protest. Obviously, it's a bought and paid for protest. I would lock that thing down in no way, shape, or form, expressly, hardcore, calling out a large contingent of the National Guard, locking down that area in no way, shape, and form. If you even think of protesting, you will be arrested. And of course, you'll have those guys going, well, that's fascism. You can't stop. You know what? I think right now, after fixing things between Palestine and Israel, I think Trump's got enough political capital to actually spend on that one, and I would lock down Washington, D.C., so much so that nobody even walks around there and jaywalks. I would make sure, in no uncertain terms, they don't get to do it. Okay, I don't even know what you're talking about with that one there, sound guy. But anyway, scroll. What are you doing? What, you would be spitting on the protesters? Sure. Anyway, so going back and forth, the Republicans want what's called a continuing resolution, or a CR. So literally all a CR is a short run form of the federal budget that lasts for 7 weeks. So month and 3 weeks. And essentially what it does is it allows the federal government to then hash out the next budgetary item. The biggest problem is everybody's been doing continuing resolutions for the longest time. We haven't had a budget in flipping ever, and that's being charitable. Excuse me a second here. Got a little bit of dregs left of tiki juice. And it's cold, but it's still tiki juice. Anyway, so essentially the CR is what the Republicans are trying to get. The Democrats on the other side of the aisle are like, oh, no, we need to tack on 1.5 trillion expenditure for healthcare for illegals. They're not saying illegals. They're saying 1.5 trillion healthcare spending additionally for Americans. Well, I thought that all was fixed with the Obamacare Affordable Care Act. I thought that all was addressed. Everything was fixed and no further problems. And why? All these things would just work swimmingly. So why do we need another 1.5 trillion or to be completely, blithely, absolutely, perfectly honest here, about a fifth of the federal budget additionally to be spent on top of the 7 point whatever billion that would piss down a rat hole anyway, with so many endless can't talk about it, carry over, cut and paste budgetary items. It might be singularly funded, or it might be doubly funded, it might be tertiarily funded, it might be blithely funded to some point where nobody decided to remove the previous execution of who knows what is in the 2,600 pages, where technically there's so much script in these things. Literally, they cut and paste a previous edition's script and go, yep, boop, and they put it into the next budgetary execution. So if you're just cutting and pasting stuff, is it even still reliably something that it should be funding? Has the programs ended? Have they been obsoleted? Have they run their course? Is it something that was found effective and it's now done with? Is it now something that was found to be ineffective and should have been discontinued, but kept getting funding in any way, shape, or form after the fact? What's it actually paying for? And most importantly, who's getting that money? That's the things that everybody really truly needs to be asking their elected officials about is, can you account for where the money is actually going? GFQ. So if you know in the parlance, that's good flipping question. And obviously we're substituting other words for flipping. So anyway, let's look at the two items side by side. The nonpartisan, which essentially just says everything's continuing on the way it was, and we're not changing anything. We're just funding at the same levels. There is no cuts. We're not adding anything. We're not taking anything away. We are just keeping the lights on, keeping everything ticking as previous. So the nonpartisan clean, or basically that carryover thing I was talking about, it is essentially charitably and most obviously a continuation of the previous budget level. So the nonpartisan clean CR is stated as thus. 7-week clean extension. Nonpartisan, no gimmicks, no new partisan spending demands, allows time for continued work on regular order bipartisan appropriations, which are already underway. So all those committees and all those guys now hashing things out, they need time to do all that stuff in the first place. Remember, 2,600 pages? Yeah. Just give me 1 second here. Now, on the other side of the aisle, the Democrats have said this. This will put illegal aliens and able-bodied adults back on free American taxpayer-funded health care. Why are we paying to fund health care for illegal aliens who, if they're not doing anything legally, they're not even putting income tax into the system to counter the expenditure for them taking out of the system? It sends $500 million to left-wing media causes. That would be like your NPR. That would be obviously your PBS. All these things that were actively defunded. Why? Well, mostly because they're wasteful. They're seen as political enterprises. And oh yeah, they're propaganda engines for the Democrats. Why is 50% of the population that doesn't agree with them funding these things? Question is needing to be answered on that one. Repeals $50 billion investment into rural health care. So, hang on a second here. If you're adding $500 million to fund the left-wing media, and you're throwing $1.5 trillion to healthcare enable Americans, why are you taking away $50 billion for rural healthcare? Interesting. So that totals $1.5 trillion in new partisan spending demands. You don't do expenditure items and you don't do add-ons for a CR. A CR is merely just, okay, we need to keep the lights on. We need to figure this thing out. We need to keep on going here. And we just essentially just hash it out. That's essentially how a CR functions. And apparently that's where we are currently with the budget items and why the Democrats are not allowing any furtherance therein of the federal CR to take place. This is really interesting, and I got to be really, really careful on how I phrase this because my ire was raised quite handily about this one. There is a guy with dual citizenship. He's a American and Swedish citizen. So, a violent Portland terrorist group, Rose City Antifa, was founded by Johan Victorin and Carolyn Victorin Nee Gould, or Gald. So basically her maiden name was Gald. The two fled to Europe, and a Swedish independent journalist has finally found them. They've been hiding in Varberg, Sweden. So this is hilarious, and it's actually posted up by Andy Ngo, NGO. That guy is flipping awesome, man. I really, truly like his work. So anyway, this media guy is speaking Swedish, and he walks up and he's like, "Excuse me, aren't you the guy that basically was like, rah-rahing the murder or enabled the murder of Charlie Kirk? Excuse me, are you so-and-so? I've heard telltale that you're blind." He literally is chasing this guy around, and this guy's completely, pointedly ignoring him, like closing doors in his face and getting into his car and driving away. And this media guy is literally just like chasing him down, going, "Hey, aren't you this blah, blah, blah guy who had something to do with Antifa in the United States and causing all this mayhem, rape, and murder?" I cannot do it justice. This guy is absolutely blanking hilarious. But he's known as @Christian Pet. @Christian Pet. So obviously you're seeing the thing in Swedish and there's subtitles and whatnot. But man, Andy No posted that thing up and he's like, yeah, this is the violent Portland terrorist group leader. And the thing about it is there's definitely extradition from Sweden to the United States. So this guy might have a little bit of issues coming down the pike. And if anybody that truly deserves to have a little bit of what for, anybody that's enabled Antifa, anybody that's done, anything accordingly contributory to the murder of Charlie Kirk, oh, dude, you need to go down hard. Taking down a peaceful public figure like that, not cool. Not cool. I got to blow this image up so I can actually read it. Hang on a second here. Okay. This is going to be a comparison for and against and polling for Donald Trump. It's looking really, really not good for the Democrats right now. So, lowering prescription drug prices for Medicare recipients and low-income patients, 86% versus 14% for. You know what? I might actually not do the math so much, but I'm going to try to go through these real quick. Deporting immigrants who are here illegally and have committed crimes, 78% to 22%. Undertaking a full-scale effort to find and eliminate fraud and waste in government expenditures, 75-25. Real hard one there. Closing the border with added security policies to discourage illegal crossings, 68-32. Launch a government-run website for consumers to buy drugs directly from the manufacturers at discounts of 50% or higher. That's a 68-32 issue. Banning men who have undergone operations and hormones to become women from girls' sports, 65-35. Eliminating all preferences by race and hiring and awarding of government contracts, 6337. Okay, I think it's equaled out enough right now. We don't need to go, okay, they have to be minority or woman owned. Yeah, no. Using the U.S. military to target drug cartel smugglers in Latin America, that's 6337. I'm kind of more in the mindset of, excuse me 1 second here, kind of more in the mindset of stopping them at international waters and saying, if you proceed and you enter into our waters, well, let's just say it's not going to work out for you. And if you keep proceeding, you're going to have a really, really bad day, okay? I would not proceed any further and try to make, no, sound guy, it's not meow, all right? Let's just say it's going to be really, no, it's not going to be bull meow or bull splat, all right? Stop. No. It's not going to be that at all. It is going to be a really, really, well, I don't know about that one, but yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, damn, that was good hang time. Anyway, so yeah, stopping them at international waters before they enter into our waters or our territorial waters, which I think is like 12 miles offshore is like territorial. Yeah. Making the 2017 tax cuts permanent, 6238. Raise fitness and readiness standards in the military under gender neutral basis. Translation, if you can't hack it, you shouldn't be doing it, all right? No special cards to go, okay, well, she's not worthy, she's not able. If you're in a combat zone, a dude falls out and you can't drag him to safety, you just basically endangered everybody. Not just the dude that's now, laying on the ground going, ow, ooh, ow, squirting fluids and all the rest of that fun stuff. You need to be the person that can grab him and, no, there's no DeLoreans in combat zones. No. Sound guy, there's no. There's none of that. Okay, that's what he's, okay, I don't know if I should take that one and put it into the room, but he was saying the girl was trying to drag dude, was straining, and things went, yeah, things went really, really, really wrong. Okay, I think she broke something and something important. Yipes. Anyway, so yeah, basically you have to fit under military physical profiles. That's Hegseth. He's a workout guy. He's not going to be the one to go, well, if you can only drag 50 pounds versus 250 pounds, that doesn't work. You need to be able to motivate somebody that's in a bad situation and get them out of danger. Let's see. Declaring that there are only two genders, male and female, in all government forms and programs, 6139. Placing reciprocal tariffs on countries that place tariffs on U.S. goods, 5941. Freezing and reevaluating all foreign aid expenditure departments that handled them, 5842. Deporting all immigrants who are here illegally, 5644. Using the military to prevent illegal immigration in the United States, 5545. That would be going against posse comitatus to some degree. Ending bans on offshore drilling in Alaska and elsewhere, 5446. Ordering strikes on Iran to destroy their nuclear capability. I think they kind of did that already. 5248. Using the National Guard and active duty military to police American cities and stop crime and disorder, 5149. Again, posse comitatus. But every single one of these things is more than 50%. And some of them are really high numbers. So that's not any of these things that Trump is losing on. And I don't know if they're really 80-20 type of issues, but there's a lot of ones that are really, really up there. And anytime you go above 50%, there's always that, kind of, margin of error squishy thing that they always tend to say with polling. Ugh. Really, really, really. Patriot Fever, appreciate you coming by, dude. Patriot Fever finally checking in. 4 days of harvest left. Well, you got to beat them feral pigs, man. They're going to eat all your stuff. Let's see. Scrolly. Scrolly. Um, Oh, I love this one. This is such um just rejiggering reality. So the guy that basically started off Reddit. If you guys don't know what Reddit is, it's probably one of the most left-hearted forum boards, short of the Democrat Union, on the internet. The only thing going for it is they actually allow dissent and other opinions before they lock down the common thread. Considering how left-hearted Reddit actually is, I believe the world would still revolve without it. But anyway, this friggin' guy, Alexis Ohanian, states this on X, formerly Twitter. As the son of an undocumented immigrant, my mom overstayed an au pair visa for years before marrying my dad, a U.S. citizen. It's deeply personal. Reddit wouldn't exist if ICE had come for her. No. I tend to think that's completely flippant, arrogant, ignorant, and just not even worthy of just giving further credence to. There's plenty of people that have invented way more stuff outside the United States than in the United States. So for you to say, oh, it can only happen here, that's utter and complete balderdash. There's plenty of people that come up with way more involved technologies than you coming up with some flippant little forum board that just has like a pretty face on it, okay? And there's a lot of times, I'll look on Reddit for something, and it's like, okay, the comments started out ignorant, got very, very leftist, and then, oh yeah, went completely off the mark and just got full on stupid. And that's being polite. It's just, ugh. But yeah, that's how left-hearted these guys are. They think if it only could happen here, but only under our way of describing the way the country should actually exist. Ugh. Just, ugh. But this one, I got a secondary story about this one, but Trump had secured $200 billion in tariffs to keep the Women and Children Foods Fund program fully funded during the shutdown. Now, of course, you got to remember the Democrats are so, wow, these uncompassionate, Republicans, they just want to starve women and children. They want to make sure illegals are just tossed out of the country unceremoniously. There's a problem. Yes, there's a problem. If the guy in the White House is directing funds and he has access to those funds to fix the problems, he's not just stolen your thunder, he's made you look like the problem, cause, and agents of the dissent in the first place to make it all happen from its outset. You guys did it to the people that you are, air quotes, protecting. Yeah. Scrolly. Well, I got to delete that one because I can't read it. Nobody else can read it, and it's now this content is unavailable. Ugh, I hate when they do stuff like that. I should just delete it. Or I might be able to archive it somehow. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about it. I think I saw this one or not, but I've heard her referred to as Katie Portley. Yeah, the pig woman from California. Just an utter absolute. Hang on a second here. I got this one, sound guy. Hang on. She is just an absolute. You could juggling thunder crunch. No.
Cock juggling thunder.
That one. She is just an absolute.
Cock juggling thunder.
Yeah, it just. Hateful, nasty. I might have to edit those two together because that ending, almost sounds like he's saying the word. But yeah, that
Cock juggling thunder.
I grabbed the wrong one that time. Yeah, her. So her popularity, she was at like 40%, which was like, she had this interview and she's like, well, and she was just like stern and arrogant and, wow, I got 40%. It's not like I really got to worry about those people that swing either way for the Republicans because I know I'm fine. Well, a video came out where she was talking to, um, let's see, uh, I think it was an MSNBC interview or something like that. But she was talking to former Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm in July 2021, and she's like doing this thing, and she made some comment about something, and a staff member popped up behind her. It was literally being shot in like somebody's house. So popped up behind her, and was like, "Hey, this, that, and the other thing, and the electric vehicle mandate, this, blah, blah, blah." And she's just looking over, going, "Get the f out of my effing shot." It's like, what? It's like, no, you basically got in my shot. Get the F out of my effing shot. Well, this, that, and the other thing. No, you keep getting in my shot. Well, that video dropped, and her popularity went from 40% to 16%. Now, if you look at this chick, she basically, let's be charitable and somewhat kind here. She definitely could do like the pissed off stepmom, or like the chick in Misery, the Kathy Bates kind of a thing, except she's a little bit polished to try to look as homely, or just not quite as glitched up as Kathy Bates was in that movie. But dang, it just, wow. Yeah, I saw that, Martina Sasquatch. Yeah, supposedly she was divorced. She attacked the ex. She was just not fun to be with. Just not fun to be with. She is most definitely riding high in the scheme of things of being a
cock juggling thunder.
Ouch, that really hurt.
I'm sure it did, but it's also
Oh,
it's just truth, okay? It's just truth. Just nasty person, and she thinks that she's gonna go in, slide in underneath the auspice of, well, Gavin Newsom's a Democrat. I'm a Democrat too. Vote for me because we don't want an icky, nasty, yucky Republican in here. Well, remember that 40% to 16%? I think anybody would just hate working for her. She is just an evil C unit. Evil, nasty, blech. Just, not good to be around. I don't know if you guys saw the encounter between Winsome Sears and Abigail Spanberger. Oh my word. She took her down hardcore. And Winsome is actually the lieutenant governor currently of Virginia. And I rather like the woman. She is a very good, godly woman who is competent, uses very measured tones to interact with somebody, very exceedingly polite, and is competent. She should become the governor of Virginia without a moment's thought. She is good. She is very, very good. And also, the thing about it is also underneath Spanberger, there is a guy by the name of Jay Jones. And he has made some really disgusting, swiping, this person should be XYZ, their kids should be blah, 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 just nasty stuff about the guy and his family, what have you. I mean, you can look all that stuff up and see it for yourself. I'm not going to rehash it here. But let's just say Jay Jones he's toxic. that's being polite, like you don't want to know. However, there was a debate taking place between Spanberger and Winsome Sears. And it got very, very interesting. So the moderator said, "Do you still embrace Jay Jones for Attorney General?" Spanberger, "The voters have the information." Moderator, "Is that a yes?" Spanberger, we are all running our individual races." Meanwhile, Winsome Sears cut right to the point. Quote, "She denounces murder. You are responsible for Jay Jones." Spanberger's dodge was so awkward the moderator had to clarify her non-answer, and even then, she ducked again. Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. I didn't hear an answer to an endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia, or were you aware of the text messages before they were released? You have 30 seconds. Spanburger, and this is where it got like word salad. It got very, very interesting here. In fact, it appears those who released the text messages had held them for years. Okay, how many times do I have to say this, folks? How many times? You don't put something out there because...
So please remember what you're going to get. There's no delete button on the internet.
No, there's no delete button on the internet. So, who cares how long it's been out there? It is a character-defining statement on his part. And for you to go, wow, it's been out there for years. Somebody just hunted that crap up and just posted it back up. Yeah, I know. They posted it back up. And she's just going, ah! Oh, stop. Yeah, so you don't put that stuff out there because there's no delete button on the internet, all right? Wow. So held them for years, so the public was unaware who had knowledge of these text messages for many years. I sincerely doubt that if somebody pulled that up out of their butt going, I got this. Hey, look at this. Yay! I pulled this out there. No, it's not like that, sound guy. Okay, they didn't just pull that out there, right? Sears, when did you know and what did you do about it? Spanburger, I learned of these text messages the day that they came out and I denounced them as soon as I learned of them. Sears, she denounces murder. Spanburger, and importantly at this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld for them, presumably for political reasons. But the voters now have information, and it's up to voters to make an individual choice based on this information. This is getting really word salad, folks. Moderator, Miss Spanburger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse Jay Jones? 15 seconds, yes or no. Spanburger, we're all running our individual races. I believe my opponent has said that about her lieutenant governor nominee. Third time's a charm, Abigail, for this from Sears. Spanburger. And it's up to every person to make their own decision. I'm running my own race to save Virginia, and that's what I intend to do. What are you saving Virginia from? If it's so competently run or incompetently run, what are you saving it from? In fact, what are you saving it from when you put somebody in there that makes those kind of statements about their opposition? Huh? Yeah. Spanburger, I'm saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual decision. I'm running for governor. I'm accountable for the words that I say, for the acts that I take, for the policies that I have put out. I'm responsible for the policies I put out and the work I will endeavor to do tirelessly for the people of Virginia. Absolute, complete, and total balderdash stinking pile. Ugh. Absolute, stinking, hairy, nasty, just pile of, yeah, thank you very much, sound guy. Oh, we got a double bull meow. All right, Sears, you are responsible for Jay Jones. You are running for governor. Moderator, thank you, Miss Spanburger. What a pile of, yeah, just bull splat. Just, yeah, bull splat and bull meow. What a pile of just, anyway. Oh, okay, I got you, the sound guy. Yeah, it's a fantasy for you to say it's anything but. Yeah, bull. It's a fantasy. It's anything but a pile of bull meow. Thank you, sound guy. I think we have enough bull splat and bull meow. Oh, Bernie Sanders. This absolute pile of. I'm almost ready to say it. I'm almost ready to say it. Bernie Sanders, you are a stinking pile of communist. Absolutely. I'm going to use it once. So Bernie Sanders says Democrats will, quote unquote, coming from his lips to God's ears. He said this. Bernie Sanders says Democrats, quote, will lose our leverage if they vote to reopen the government. Lose your leverage. You are drastically affecting the military. You're drastically affecting all government employees. You're drastically affecting all civilian operations that intersect with federal employees in which to make them work. Never mind the fact that you basically blithely, physically stop the financial fiduciary and anything monetarily related with the federal government because you're going to lose your leverage. You stinking pile of...
But I pooped from there.
Yeah, just... yeah, I really... If there's ever a time I really wanted to cuss, this is it. Bernie Sanders, you are a pimple on the asshole of humanity. What a steaming pile of turds. Scrolly. Now, here's the other shoe that's ready to drop, and it got leaked. Here's the best part. This whole thing with the government shutdown has now come out why the Democrats think they have the leverage, and they don't want to open the federal government before a certain time period. Well, it's pretty bloody damn obvious. They want to have the most bang for the buck for this No Kings protest. That's what it is. So, Speaker Mike Johnson reveals the Democrat plan to keep the government closed until after the No Kings protest in Washington, D.C. Quote, I have had it with these people. I cannot face their rabid base. Let's see. The House Speaker now revealed on Fox News this morning, Democrats will likely keep the government shut down for more than another week until after the scheduled No Kings protest against the Trump administration on October 18, or 4 more days. Ooh, 4 more days. It's going to mean so much more if they hold up until after the 18th. Let's see. No Kings Group is planning a demonstration in National Mall in D.C., and some of the House Democrats are selling T-shirts for the event, Johnson said. It's being told to us they won't be able to reopen the government until after the rally because they can't face their rabid base. This comes after Senate Minority Leader Chuck U. Schumer callously boasted that the shutdown is good for Democrats and, quote, every day gets better for us, end quote. Meanwhile, many Americans will miss a paycheck because the Democrats' attempts to appease their radical base and fight for illegal aliens. Johnson was asked to respond to Schumer's comments on Friday, and he told Fox and Friends panel, the only reason why this is good for Democrats. I've had it with these people. They're playing games with real people's lives. So how do you react when you hear Chuck Schumer saying every day gets better for us with the people who aren't getting paid? What about the women who are here while their husbands are deployed? What about the people who are trying to go on vacations or go away for holiday weekends and their flights are delayed or canceled? How is that better for everybody? Speaker Johnson. Real harm to real people, and we're hearing it from our constituents. The House Republicans right now are in the districts working, trying to help the people through their own crisis that's being created by the Democrats. I mean, it's a health crisis. It's nutrition services for young mothers and infant children. It's, all manner of services are provided. FEMA, they can't write flood insurance policies in the middle of the hurricane season because of this nonsense, and we're so angry about it. I'm a very patient guy, but I've had it with these people. They're playing games with real people's lives. The theory we have right now is they have a hate American rally that's scheduled for October 18 on the National Mall. It's a pro-Hamas wing, and the Antifa people. They're all coming out. Some of the House Democrats will be selling T-shirts for the event, and I'm being told to us that they won't be able to reopen the government because of the rally, because they can't face the rabid base. I mean, this is serious business hurting real people. And I'm just beyond words. I can't believe they're actually doing this. Johnson further said in the press release that the Congressional Democrats are catering to the radical left groups organizing the October 18 protest after they, quote unquote, spent weeks pressuring the Democrats to shut the government down. Axios reports that Schumer and his team even established a private shutdown war room with progressive activists, unions, and operatives, including Move On and Progressive Change Progressive Change Campaign Committee to coordinate messaging and strategy. The efforts began weeks before the shutdown, with Schumer's office sharing talking points and campaign-style materials to rally the far left, according to the release. Well, how much of this really almost sounds like something RICO-related if they're doing this event, selling T-shirts, and profiteering off the shutdown of the federal government? I'm almost thinking these guys need to be charged with RICO. Every single one of them, with Schumer as the head in line going on down. This is absolutely transparent what they're doing. Let's see. Scrolly. Oh, right. Yeah, Patriot Fever in the room says. But, dude, Antifa's not a centrally organized group, they say, and an idea is not an organization. Yeah, bloody damn obvious. Scrolly. Martina Sasquatch. I wish I'd read that message that you retracted. It probably was good. Let's see. Scrolly. The pictures, and I cannot do this justice, but the glowing, I adore you so much pictures of Bill and Hillary when they first got married. It's absolutely just comic gold when you see the later pictures, and she's just like, Bill, I'm going to describe to you every form of moron you ever possibly could ever be. Ugh. Yeah, exactly, Martina Sasquatch. I read that. I got it now. Yeah. Yep. You're kind of like in the, you're in the valley and you're seeing the avalanche coming at you. You're just going, oh, no. Oh, look, a tunnel. I can cut through here. Yeah, I know that there's an escape path. You're just waiting. Let's see. Scroll. But yeah, the diametrically opposed pictures. I mean, it's comic gold. I cannot do it justice, folks. You have like these two on their wedding where there was like, they're just looking just like, oh, I adore you so much. And then later in life, she's just like, Bill? Bill? You, Bill? Oh, man. I have heard it on good authority, though, that it's been very well expressed that Hillary gets more than Bill did or does. But, oh, dude, that is just, seeing Hillary on the make for another female is just...
Enough is enough! I have had it with these mother... on this mother... plane! Everybody strap in! We're about to open some windows.
That is just... Yeah, it's... Okay, he's going to play every cat video... Oh, I'm sorry, cat file we have. Told you. Really? Oh, okay. That's probably the cat after it encountered Hillary's cat. Just yeah. That's definitely Hillary's cat. The average female's cat, Hillary's cat. Oh, I don't even want to. No. Hillary's cat is probably... Here we see the toxic waste dump. Oh, jeez. Yipes. Well. Okay, I'll use the classic line they had from Married with Children. Bill had it when it was fresh. Oh, gosh. That is just... yeah, but it definitely went from... to... Yeah, most definitely. It is... Oh, jeez. That's a kitty that is gone full cougar and a full puma. Jeez. Rank. Let's see. Scrolly. I got way too many memes I got to kick through here, but I do actually have a funny one. This one's kind of short but cute. So supposedly, it's now breaking news that Neil Young, also known as Whiny Neil, has decided to pull all of his music off of Amazon because Jeff Bezos supports the Trump administration. Well, him doing this Southern man, whiny voice with the sucky guitar work, I don't know how I'm ever gonna live without hearing his cat stuck under a truck tire with sucky guitar work. I don't know how I'll ever live without hearing that again on Amazon. Oh yeah, it's just.
Enough is enough. I have had it with these on this plane. Everybody strap in. I'm about to open some windows.
It's not the no. It's not no. It's definitely yeah. Those two are synonymous. Hillary Clinton's and whiny Neil's voice is just yeah. It's not good. Okay, it's just not. It's. Could you express it any differently there, sound guy? Could you say it was anything else? But yes, it is. It is definitely yes, exactly. it is bull meow. Where will I ever get whiny Neil from here on in? Oh, I don't even really hear him much on like the oldies station. Speaking of meow meow stuff, California has now got a second county that has announced that they're worried about. I can play this now. I got this file, sound guy. I now can talk about, of all things, the
Chinese Communist COVID viral infection. Drop shot.
Yeah, so we're talking about.
Drop shot.
Okay, not so much the shot, but definitely the.
The Chinese Communist COVID viral infection.
Right, that. So, due to a greater risk of the Chinese Communist covert viral infection, supposedly there's now a second county that is announcing they have a COVID protocol and you have to wear masks. I don't know if they really got to worry about the
Chinese Communist COVID viral infection. Drop shot.
I don't know if they got to worry about that so much, but I don't have to worry about
Fact check.
Nope, they don't do that anymore because they know they're going to get cucked bad if they do play that game. So, coming in from Epic Times, due to the greater risk of COVID, also known as the Chinese Communist covert viral infection, flu and other respiratory virus-related illnesses over the fall and winter months, Sonoma County issued an order on October 6th that requires healthcare staff and others to wear face coverings inside patient care areas of specified healthcare facilities. So, if you go to the hospital or like a primary care, you got to wear a face bra. Guess what? If I'm wearing a face bra, it's going to have multiple holes in it. And they're going to go, that's not effective. It's like, you know what? It isn't any more effective than if I was wearing it without the holes in the first place. Because you're trying to stop mosquitoes with a chain link fence. Be correct on what you're describing here. Okay? Basically, you're describing a hula hoop, and that's the virus. So utterly stupid. The reason for having a mask is if you expectorate, you do not give it to somebody else. That's why they wear them in surgery. They're not trying to protect themselves from the patient. They're trying to protect the patient from them. If you're working an open wound and you go, yeah, that's kind of seen as a bad play. yeah, that's kind of seen as bad play. Don't sneeze in the open chest cavity. That's bad juju, okay? Technically and medically, that would be considered a false move. So, obviously, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know, the remaining living hostages who were held by Hamas for 94 days or something like that. So they were finally released. Why? because Hamas basically had everybody in the Arab world telling them, look, if you don't let them go, Trump is going to come in and he's going to blow you up. And I'm sure that was more like African than, Arab, but trust me, everybody in the Muslim, Arab culture was like, dude, don't play with Trump, okay? Trump really, really effing means it. He's about ready to drop bomb on you. And I'm not saying just little itty bitty ones. Look what he did to Iran, okay? He ain't playing. Don't task with him, because he's really just going to give you a rough way to go, and you're not going to like it. Trust me. It's not going to work out for you. It's going to be a really, really bad day in the neighborhood, and you're not going to do well. Excuse me, I'm knocking things over. You're not going to do well, and it's just not going to work out for you. Trust me in this regard. Believe this to be true. Trump ain't playing. Anyway, so let's see. Scroll. Scrolly. Scroll. One of my brothers is now like, oh, all these people, man, they're such snowflakes because they want to watch Kid Rock instead of Bad Bunny in the halftime show. So we're going back and forth, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here because I don't want to take out his opinions and put them on public fray here, but let's just say he's like, oh man, these guys are snowflakes for wanting to watch Kid Rock. They've been so triggered because of Hispanic guys doing it. No. Here it is, man. And I'll read my words to him. I said, and I was trying to be generically nice about this, but I was trying to be, very definitive. I said, I think the problem is he's too weird cross-dressing, does Spanish-only lyrics, and says some stuff that some find questionable about performing in these United States. When for all intents and purposes, he's a U.S. citizenship, has from birth because he's from Puerto Rico. His race has absolutely nothing to do with it. So the brother said, basically, because he's doing Spanish, there's an issue here, and, the racist, blah, 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 the usual, fluff. Oh, they're just being racist because he's Hispanic. It's like, no, they don't want to see him because he's a cross-dressing guy singing in Spanish, and he said confrontational stuff. Kind of not the kind of things most people gravitate to, so they're not digging on him. And also the other thing, too, is, during a football game, you can count on a half an hour where this thing's ongoing. You're not required to watch. Translation, you're not required to watch any football game, no matter what any of these guys say on the other side of the aisle. As a matter of fact, since all that kneeling crap happened, I don't want to even be in the same room with somebody watching football. I have nothing to do with it whatsoever, and I have no reason to be charitable to these guys doing and saying these things that I find completely pretty reprehensible, okay? And if you're going to be a counterculture idiot, no matter what you say and do, you're going to piss off 50% of the population, okay? That's it in its essence. You're going to piss off 50% of the people. That's just how it is. Let's see. Bad Bunny would be a bad colonial regular. He also runs around between red and blue bear. Let's just say that silly rabbit really has no chance to make friends. Okay, let's just keep it as that. He really has no chance to make friends. Let's see. Scrolly. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not, but I think the driver may have been loaded, and it just went off. His fingers weren't anywhere near the steering wheel. So yeah, Alec Baldwin is in the news yet again. Why? Because he crashed his Range Rover into a tree in the Hamptons, high dollar area, with his brother Stephen in the car. He was walking around appearing disheveled, and I'm sure the cops were like, hey, come over here and blow in this thing for us, okay? We want to see if you are okay. Yeah. So, yeah, the memes have been freaking epic, and the statements and comments have been absolutely hilarious. I basically said the one about I didn't think the driver was loaded, or I didn't know the driver was loaded. I don't know if you guys say this guy or not. They say he's a comedian. The few times I've actually heard him speak and doing like on stage thing and doing his spiel, I never really thought he was that funny. Supposedly, He's had a pissing match with Joe Rogan before, and Rogan is not a Republican. Okay, let's just be completely honest here. If anything, he's more socialist. He does have some libertarian leanings. I think when he does interviews, he tries to stay fairly neutral. Some of the podcasts, he says some things that I'm just not in line with, but that's his deal. He's basically just talking to somebody else and putting in his commentary where he thinks in the audience of in the sphere of that person he's talking to, it fits. Other times, he kind of keeps his yap shut in some regards and pretty much just asks the technical side of things. Sometimes the podcasts are really good. Sometimes they're kind of eh. I really, truly don't watch the ones where he's like, oh, I got this MMA guy, and we're going to talk about this and the other thing. It's like, I really, truly don't care, okay? Bring on somebody that's smart and technical. I'm kind of intrigued, and I'll listen in. Feel bad for the vultures. Oh. good kebab material for the buzzards. bunny num-nums. Bunny num-nums. Oh, man. That's actually kind of funny. Bunny num-nums. Oh. Bunny num-nums. Okay, yeah. All right, you can get a ding on that one, but don't be
Dickhead.
Exactly. Don't be a dickhead. So anyway, this guy, well, I think Mark Maron is your opinion?
Dickhead.
Thank you. I agree. So anyway, he's a screaming leftard, air quotes, comic named Mark Maron. I call him Mark Moron. But he finally sees that he didn't accomplish anything but screaming into the hurricane, and he was a total asshole to fellow podcaster Joe Rogan and fellow comedian. I see him as a total liberal C unit, and on his podcast, he's just a liberal hit bag, just dogging on people. But the thing is, he's also brought in screaming leftards like Lorne Michaels, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Ben Stiller, Conan O'Brien, and for the 1,000th episode, he talked to Jane. I got this one sound guy. He talked to Jane Fonda. So anyway, he's done 1,600 episodes over 16 years, and now he's decided it is time to say bye-bye.
Oh my.
So anyway, I think sound guy just escorted him out of the studio. Hey, Mark Maron, it's time for you to go.
Fatality.
Okay. I think he's done. All right, I think he's done. Would you stop? So he threw him out the door, he expired him, and he proceeded to give him a heavenly lift. Okay, so the very last show was Barack Hussein Obama. Locked the gates on his podcast. He helped him. The show returned for its final episode after 16 years and 1,600 episodes. So Obama asked the initial questions. How are you feeling about this whole thing? Transition, moving on from this thing that's been part of one of the major defining parts of your career and your life. Moron. I feel okay. I feel like I'm sort of ready for the break, but there's sort of a fear there. But what do I do now? What I do now? I'm busy, but not unlike your job. I've got a lot of people who over the last 16 years have grown to rely on me. Read like your staff? Yeesh. He's worth like 10 mil. I think that's what I saw for his net worth. So Moron laughed as he acknowledged the comparing his podcasting gig to the presidency. I think it's pretty similar, Obama said. Ugh. So they didn't reveal who was going to be the last guest until the last second. And now everybody was just like, oh, you're so courageous. you're so brave. You brought out Obama. Oh, yay. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. I think it's really, I think this is really hilarious. I think you're going to be okay. I think it's part of the reason is you had such a big fan base in this 16-year run is there's a core decency to you and the conversations that you had. No. He was kind of a raging... hang on a second here. I got this one, sound guy. He was kind of a raging...
Dickhead.
just a raging dickhead. And,
Snoo, snoo.
You're in the jailhouse now.
okay. I don't know if he got the snoo, but he definitely was,
Snoo, snoo.
No, he didn't get snoo. Sound guy.
No!
Snoo, snoo.
Oh, no snoo. Okay, thank you for correcting that. No snoo. You stop. Jeez.
You're despicable.
Snoo, snoo.
Despicable snoo. I don't think I even want to see despicable snoo. Oh my word. Wow. Despicable snoo. So Obama was basically just, and Moron was like really doubly, couldn't stick his nose up his butt any further, but wow. Yeah, so that was the last show, him interviewing Obama. Woof. Just woof. Wow. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not. I think I got a couple more news stories I can jump on real quick. This one is not safe for work and definitely eye bleach material. So the dumbasses are running around Portland nude trying to stop ICE. So the dream of nudists came alive in Portland on Sunday when hundreds of naked bike riders. Now, let me just explain to you the scene. I actually watched. Yeah, my eyeballs are still recovering. I actually watched this video, and, well, the chicks running around with, like, let's just say gravity-altered upper regions. Yeah, those things were definitely blop blop. Yeah, definitely plop plop. Those chicks were running around mostly topless. There was a couple fully nude females, but most of the chicks that you really truly don't want to see without something on had nothing on their tops, and it was just yeah.
You're despicable.
Yeah, they should not have been running around like that. Never mind the fact it was pouring down rain, and you saw like nude people running around with like raincoats on, ponchos, trying to stay somewhat a little bit dry, but they were getting hosed. So they're riding around, and most of the people that I saw fully nude were guys. It's like, oh, dude, no, I didn't need to see your schlong dangling around as you're trying to ride a bicycle. No, ew, yuck. I can only think that possibly the only redeeming cause in that was the fact that when they got done riding, the seats would be getting washed off by the rain. Oh, yuck. Yeah, extremely bleh. So anyway, these guys were riding around the ice facility thinking, because we're riding naked, all these people are going to be so offended, they're going to stop doing ice, ice festivities, shall we say. Oh man, but the video is posted up. The guy that posted it up is either George or Jorge. So Jorge Ventura. So it might be Jorge Ventura. So Jorge Ventura Media at Ventura Report. Hundreds of naked bike riders. Oh, dude, no. So the naked bike riders arrived as part of the quote-unquote emergency edition ahead of the annual World Naked Bike Ride. You're riding around an ice facility. That's not riding around the world. And I guarantee you there's some places you're riding around naked, they're not going to appreciate it. Believe that. believe that. Scrolly. Scroll. This one, I can probably relate this one. Time Magazine did a cover of Trump, and it's like kind of one of these poses where you see him like kind of like that. You know, he's like looking off to the right and up, but the camera is like underneath doing this heroic pose thing where he's kind of doing one of these things. And you know Trump's hair, man. He parts it over to the right, and it's like literally like a waterfall from like starting like about here and just going over. So it's going to his right side anyway. Most of their hair is kind of like, you know, floofing over. Dude is not bald. But anyway, what they did on this cover of Time was they said, his triumph, the leader Israel needed. Right. Well, like Netanyahu's not the guy. Let me blow this up here so I can read the script. His triumph by Eric Cortaliza. The leader Israel needed by Ehud Barak. Gaza heals by Mohammed bin Adolkarim al-Isa. And this one is posted up on November 18, 2025. But what they did was really freaking cheap. Now, you know, I might be able to show this in the room real fast here, but give me 1 second here. Lose that. Go over here. Go to me. Hopefully I can show this. Let's see. Okay, I think I can make this one work. So anyway, if you look at it, look what they did, and they like thinned out his hair. Okay, I have never seen Trump with like light showing through his hair from any angle. So they literally took like, you know, the Photoshop, and they're like, let's just erase some of this, make him look like he's older. Dude's not young, okay? He's like towing 80, but they literally tried to age him up and give him less hair. Do you guys really think that's going to be like drastically effective for you to pull some kind of crap like that and just immediately diminish his ability to do anything that's good? And you guys are a bunch of pea meows. Bunch of pea meows. Yeah, bunch of pea meows. Editing the photograph to give him, air quotes, less hair. Wow. In news, coming in from Science Tech Daily, this one coming in about the Chinese Communist covert virus. Vaccinated, but still got COVID. A new study explains why. You're retarded. Let's see. Scroll. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not. I didn't even know they made this, but Stellantis obviously owns Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. Actually, I think it's got Nissan now, but it's a large European auto group. But they have Jeep. Well, Jeep was making, of all things, and I really cannot do this one justice, but this one is absolutely hilarious. They made not just a Jeep, which has build quality issues to begin with, but they made an EV version of the Jeep. So Stellantis, which has not a good record of, you know, electric vehicles, begin with like, you know, the Dodge Charger and other executions they're in, they made an EV Jeep. Yeah, pretty not great. So the problem is a recent software update to the Jeep 4xe plug-in hybrid has reportedly caused major malfunctions, leaving many owners stranded in some potentially dangerous situations after the vehicles were quote-unquote bricked by a botched upgrade. So essentially, you try to fire the thing up, and it just says, nope, not doing it. I don't feel like working right now. I am down for the count, and I don't feel well.
And thing sucks.
Yeah, it's just done. Not doing it. Not doing it. Okay, it didn't blow up, sound guy. It didn't. It just said it didn't blow up. It stopped working. That's what brick means, sound guy. It's not working. It's like when you pick the thing up and you basically have like this, you're looking at just a blank screen, you're going you've gone into full monkey mode. Yeah, the thing's just not going. You've gone full monkey mode and you can bang on it as much as you want and you're getting nothing. So they said the malfunction becomes a situation when you upload your new modification, upgrade, whatever. We're fixing this previous problem. Yeah. So it's a software update, quote unquote, software update. Yeah, this is a software update. No, it's working fine.
And thing sucks.
It's not doing it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm hitting the button, but it's not. It's just not. It's not.
This is my boomstick.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Yep, pooping yourself in frustration. Stop with the farts. So yeah, you basically upload this new system update and it just crashes your stuff. Wow. Got a couple last new ones here. Supposedly Hamas doesn't feel like disarming. Well, Trump just issued a warning threat saying, look, if you don't stop this and you don't give up the firearms and you don't give up the other weapons, I'm going to come down on you with both feet. And they know what I mean. So basically, disarming Hamas is not a secondary issue. It's a primary issue, and they probably better listen. Let's see. Scrolly. If you noticed, all the released hostages were male. Could it be maybe that they were assaulted in a like male and female type of thing and impregnated? And oh yeah, we can't have that evidence around. So that might be why there's no female hostages. Yeah, because if they left them alive, they could say, well, yeah, these unfortunate 15 kids, I don't know how that happened. These women were just sitting there, and next thing you know, bang, they were pregnant. Woof. I did hear, and I'm in passing, I'm going to not say for sure that I know for sure that this is, but I did hear Newsmax was one of the agencies that refused. So Newsmax and other news agencies are, quote, not signing a requirement to operate in the Pentagon. Now, none of these are outrageous, or none of these are not like standard, security things that are so far outside the mark. Excuse me 1 second. So, what Hegseth said essentially was this. And this is actually coming off his X / formerly Twitter, at Pete Hegseth. Pentagon access is a privilege, not a right. So, here it is. At Department of War. And that's literally the new, at place. So, at DPTOVWAR, Department of War, press credentials for dummies. Check mark 1. Press no longer roams free. They need to be escorted. There's no great mystery there. You don't walk around freely in the Pentagon. Even if you have access, there's certain places you're not partitioned for. You don't go. Press must wear visible badges. That's not anything that you don't normally do anyway. When I was operating around DC and I had, contractor badges, it's just a plastic placard on, basically just one of those lanyard things. You have to have it on you. You have to have it visible. It's not that big a deal. You basically just have it on you and visible at all times. Check mark number 3. credentialed press is no longer permitted to solicit criminal acts. Oops, that's huge. Translation, you don't broach information when you're told, hey, don't talk about this. That's what they mean. Done. Pentagon now has the same rules as every U.S. military installation. Just because you're allowed to go in there and do pressers does not mean you get special, ability to just blow off the rules. That ain't happening no more. Scrolly. Anything else jumping in? I got a couple more memes. This one I found a little interesting. Let me pause at this one real fast here. So anyway, this one coming in from Barry Cunningham with a check mark. I don't know who he is. So, wait, what? Democrats are going to stop President Trump from paying the military? Seriously? This will be funny. RNC Research at RNC Research. So it was obviously a retweet. Jim Himes, who says he upped U.S. troops. Jim Himes, who says he's upset U.S. troops will miss paychecks under Democrat shutdown, isn't happy President Trump is fixing it. CBS, quote, the president posted on social media they're going to repurpose funds somehow to pay the military, end quote. Himes, laughing, he can't do that. Actually, he can do that. So that's exactly what he's doing. If you got a problem with it, take him to court and say, you shouldn't be paying the U.S. military. Actually, I got to do that correctly. Thor's hammer. You shouldn't be paying the U.S. military and those starving women and children. Yeah, that's going to fall on really just charitably. We are so happy that you guys are strong in this regard. Thank you so much for showing these, Republicans, these MAGA Republicans exactly what you're going to be doing there. Yeesh, just yeesh. I don't think that one's going to work out for you guys, but go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. Wow. Oh, I do have some music going on here. All right, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know you got many other things to do on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for hanging out, and you will get a gold star for attendance. Whether that's going to be delivered by UPS or simply just snail mail, I can't tell you, but I'll task Sound Guy with that one. Anyway, so appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Unless I put out something sooner, I'll probably just keep this one as for it is for the week, unless I put out another video. But you guys decided to hang out with me, and I thank you guys much for your kind attention. I'll catch you guys next week. Good stuff like that there. Eat good, keep your time ring as always. You know what, you love it. I will see you then. Catch you guys later. Have a good week. See you guys. Peace.